Something gravely serious is occurring in our airspace, and in many cases our government does not understand the origin, capability, or intentions of these intruders. The sooner we learn the truth, the better our chances for preparing for whatever comes next.
That was from a first-of-its-kind forum on UAP disclosure on Capitol Hill. Today, nearly 24 lawmakers, former intelligence officials, and whistleblowers came together to discuss what comes next in finding the truth about UFO technology and non-human life. It's an issue that brings together the vast majority of Americans. 89% of Republicans and 88% of Democrats, who never agree on anything, want UAP transparency. So what did we learn today? Well, the forum covered a lot of ground. We heard that our oceans may not be as safe as we think they are. When UFOs aren't coming from the skies, they're emerging from the oceans instead. One Rear Admiral said the government needs to start worrying about U.S. maritime security as objects under the sea have been spotted monitoring our submarines and have even outpaced them. Also on today's agenda, the 12 missing and dead scientists, some of whom had connections to UAP research. Some noted today that future whistleblowers could be too scared to come forward out of fear there could be some kind of deadly retaliation. Also discussed the effect that any disclosure on non-human life could have on both financial markets and on world religions.
As far as religion is concerned, the impact will be unpredictable.
Joining now to break down what we saw is researcher and founder of the Disclosure Project, Dr. Stephen Greer, and head of the UAP Science Advisory Council to the White House, Avi Loeb. Great to see you both. Thanks so much. So, Dr. Greer, let's start with you. You've been pushing for disclosure for years. What is your takeaway from today's forum?
Well, yes, we started the Disclosure Project 35 years ago during the Clinton administration when I briefed the director of CIA because they were being denied access to these projects. And I think what people are waiting for is substantial disclosure of more evidence. In other words, people in our Disclosure Project whistleblower files that we have handed over to the White House and Congress have handled the actual biological material, the extraterrestrial bodies. They've handled the craft. We have a man who's a colonel who actually managed the pilots who flew the man-made UAPs. The majority of these images that you are seeing are actually man-made clandestine craft and not extraterrestrial or NHI. So it's a very complex issue. And I think that people who have been even read into this in the military that I'm working with are waiting for substantial evidence to be disclosed that's not just a light in the sky or something vague. And we know we have it. So the question is, at what point will the Congress hold hearings with subpoenas, or will the White House begin to release that type of evidence? And that's what we're waiting for.
Interesting. So, Avi, you were at the forum today on Capitol Hill. I want to hear your thoughts about what Christopher Mellon had to say about the presence of threats. Take a listen.
Has there been an aggressive intent or even a lethal intent ever detected, from your all knowledge, a UAP incident in which there was some sort of aggressive intent aimed at military service members or perhaps civilians?
We've had radar jamming and that kind of thing, which is a serious matter.
Serious matter to humans.
I mean, the military views that as an act of aggression.
Yeah, I mean, we worry about the drones, the new warfare era that we're entering. I mean, the question is, are these objects compromising our defense capabilities? And we think of UAPs as being only in the sky, but we're hearing that they're now coming out of the ocean.
Right. So this is an important subject because it could be a threat to national security if we're dealing in particular with some of these objects being human-made. We just don't know because the Pentagon and the intelligence agencies are baffled. They're not sure what these objects are. And I think we're entering a new era now with President Trump's directive where there will be cooperation between the U.S. government and, for example, the council that I'm leading, where we submitted a request for more than 50 items that about specific incidents, specific type of materials that might be within government, and we are waiting to see what we get in return. And I think that the best is to attend to the data, to the evidence. That's what will guide us as to the nature of these objects. But at the very least, it's a serious national security threat, and we need to figure it out, and just to make sure that these are not objects manufactured by adversarial nations.
But,
so,
the follow-up on that is, someone has to know what these are. Is it that
we do.
Someone in the
Yes.
government knows, Avi, what these are, and they're just not telling us? Or is it a combination of both? Some, every video we see, we may not know, but there's a lot of video, and I would think that the federal government, with the resources of the Pentagon and the CIA and others, would know something about what these are.
Well, I cannot say much about historic data, but in recent years, the latest sensors that we have are far better than we had before. And there is no doubt that we're dealing with objects that the Pentagon is unable to figure out. And, the strange thing is that they're opening up the discussion right now, thanks to President Trump's directive. I think it will bring us to a better place where either my council will be able to help the Pentagon accomplish its mission in protecting strategic assets, or we are at, the beginning of a revolution in our scientific understanding of the universe. And both, it's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned as a scientist, because I feel that it's my civil duty to help the government figure out these things. I don't think that the current people engaged, I don't think that they're purposely claiming that they cannot figure out the latest.
Dr. Greer, do you agree with that?
Well, it's a little more complicated than that. The reality is there are compartmented code word level operations that fully know what these are. They know there are man-made ones. They know that Lockheed Skunk Works, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon have made these devices. My uncle's company, Northrop Grumman, he worked his whole career there. And they also know some of them are of extraterrestrial origin. And now I think that the problem is that the compartmentalization has become so granular and so deceptive. This is why presidents and even the senior members of Congress have been gaslit and denied access. So now we're talking about a constitutional issue as well as and a governance issue, as well as a scientific crisis. And I agree with Dr. Loeb on that we need to figure out the technology. But for example, the Tic Tac that was shown all over the world some years ago, that's a Lockheed Skunk Works device. We have it documented all the way back to 1967. So this is in the Disclosure Project archive, which anyone can go to. So I think that the big issue are the current panels and investigations a redux of the 1950s and 60s, where those panels were created to basically put this into turnaround and into a dead end, or are they going to go somewhere? And this is why people who I know who are in Congress and are also the general public are looking to see, and it is not clear yet if it's going to take that actual disclosure direction or not.
Well, it feels like there's more pressure than ever, and I found the comments about religion today fascinating. So looking forward to what you all are continuing to work on, and we will continue to watch it. Avi Loeb, Dr. Stephen Greer, thank you for joining me. Great to see you.
Thank you.